Imagine speaking in a relaxed way, sounding authentic without trying too hard. If you've ever felt overwhelmed, exhausted from having to perform, I want to share with you something that can change the way you understand your stress and your voice. I was recently working with a client who realized that her whole life was based around performance. Not because she loved it, because unconsciously she thought that she had to perform in order to be accepted. When you live that way long enough, it doesn't just take a toll on your emotional state. It begins to show up in your body, straining your voice, and it negatively impacts your personal relationships and your professional relationships in your career. In this video, I want to share with you a profound transformational story so that you experience the relief for yourself. I also share with you what causes that need for unhealthy performance and what are sustainable solutions that you can implement so that you feel more relaxed, more comfortable, and more authentic. Before we begin, if this is your first time here, I'm your favorite holistic voice coach, Hoss, creator of Vibrant Voice Architecture, where we help you speak more effortlessly by releasing the tension from your voice physically and psychologically. This is something that I've struggled with the majority of my life, and I finally cracked the code and learned how to overcome it. Now I'm helping many others as well. Also, click the link in the description to join my free program to learn the foundations for a healthy voice. That sounds like a good deal. Hit the like and subscribe button so that we reach more people, and let's dive in. I worked with a client, let's call her Beth. All of her unhealthy performance patterns were stuck in her throat. She shared with me that as a child, she was forced into a path and to do activities that she really didn't want to. However, as an adult, she was in a career where she had to be on the phone pretty much all day long, speaking to people. Anytime she felt that urge to perform, she felt that energy rush upward in her body, and her vocal pitch jumped up a register. She experienced an overwhelming sense of stress, anxiety, and tension in her body. She also described sensations of sandpaper on her voice that made her voice sound so hoarse and breathy. As we explored this deeper, we discovered that when Beth was 12 years old, she was already being forced into all these paths that she didn't choose, that other people chose for her. This impacted her nervous system in a certain way that made her body react. Her father in particular was emotionally disconnected from reason, cooperation, and compassion to the degree where she felt unaccepted, she felt unloved, and she felt unsafe around him. And we are talking about formative years, so everything that happened in her childhood and teenage years carried with her into adulthood. So we revisited that memory to 12-year-old Beth and began to, you know it, reparent her. We started by slowing down the breath to access deeper and deeper frequencies of the brain. This signals feelings of safety to the nervous system. And then I invited 32-year-old Beth, current Beth, to have a conversation, a very kind, reparenting, healing conversation with 12-year-old Beth. Build trust. And she began to tell her younger self, "My dear, this part of your life is over. The person who put you on those paths and forced you onto them is no longer your caretaker. You don't have to perform anymore. All the anxiety, it can be over now. You don't have to be stressed." Just by hearing those words, something shifted. I then asked current Beth, 32-year-old Beth, how does 12-year-old Beth feel receiving these words from you? She paused, took a breath, and she told me that she feels more joy, happiness, and the ability to be a kid again. A sense of relief, freedom, and peace. Then we took this to another level to reset the nervous system. I asked her if this sense of freedom and peace had a color, what would it be? She thought about it, she felt about it, and she said, bright blue, blue like the sky, clear sky. So I invited her to imagine that bright blue color as an angelic glow that almost has a liquid kind of texture to it. And I guided her to feel that color surrounding her nervous system, were surrounding her body and glowing, radiating from her body. And I invited her to soak into that feeling and sensation for 30 to 60 seconds. Not long after, she broke down crying, tears of joy. I held space for a little bit and then I asked her, "What did you experience?" And she spoke with the most vibrant voice. "I did not expect that. I felt so much relief and I feel so much better." It's almost like that peace that she was feeling was unclogging the tension and the stress that was held up in her throat, in her voice. Now that her nervous system had softened around her voice, we did some powerful vocal exercises, and within about 10 minutes, she reported that her voice went from 5 out of 10, sounding hoarse, tense, and breathy, to sounding 9 out of 10, relaxed, clear, and effortless. If you're thinking this sounds too emotional, I just want vocal techniques to improve my speech and sound more confident, I do have clients who don't want to do the psychological healing and only want the vocal techniques, but they progress much slower. And at some point, they hit a plateau where they can't progress anymore, because your voice is the expression and the vibration of your soul. It's not a mechanical robotic system in isolation. It's part of an energetic and spiritual system that is connected to your physical 3D body. If technique alone worked, no one would still be struggling. Technique helps after the nervous system feels safe. Otherwise, you're building skill on top of survival mode. It doesn't last so long. It does not take. Using vocal techniques while your nervous system is still on overdrive on survival is like driving a car and the hand breaks up. You're going to burn the engine. It's not going to feel good. You're not going to get very far. Imagine watching a boxing match. If a boxer is too tense, they're going to gas out in round 1. But staying loose yet strong allows you to hit harder with less effort. Sometimes when I'm recording, the mic and the wiring creates some static, some distortion. If I raise the volume, it's not going to help. Clarity first, power second. Some people say, hey, I'm a performer. That's who I am. I actually admire that. I really enjoy performing too. However, you want to be able to discern where the performance is coming from anxiety or excitement. Having an armor looks impressive, but you don't wear it because it's comfortable. You wear it because you're expecting a battle. There's a difference between expressive performance and survival performance. One feels energizing, the other feels exhausting and constricting. Your body knows which one you're living in. A simple way to tell the difference is the depth of your breath. A mentor of mine would say, anxiety is excitement without the breath. Your body knows which one it is and it gives you signals. If your breath is deep, it's excitement. Keep going. If your breath is shallow, it's coming from anxiety and something within you is misaligned. Part of you may be thinking, so what if I'm performing based on anxiety instead of excitement? I'll give you the analogy of it's almost like applause, acceptance, and approval is now oxygen. It's going to be exhausting because you can't keep it up with the same rate. It's not balanced. The beautiful thing is, when you perform from an aligned space, you achieve your goals even faster and smoother. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast is a Navy SEAL saying, an organization that requires top performance. I also worked with people that don't remember those difficult memories from childhood. Well, it's kind of like riding a bike. Your mind may forget, but your body remembers how to ride a bike. And your body remembers those memories too. And doing a simple exercise like feeling the peace, feeling the safety in your body can begin to tap into your nervous system and release the stress that's been held up in your body. By feeling the peace, you begin to soften the nervous system and release some of the tension that's been held up in the body. Whether you have tight shoulders or a tight voice or a tight low back, doing these exercises can have you experience so much release that what may have felt like an injury before is now completely healthy because blood and oxygen are finally flowing to that part of your body once again, and it begins to heal itself rapidly. You may even notice that her biggest breakthrough when she broke down sobbing came from simply feeling that bright blue sky-like sense of freedom and peace in her body. She wasn't thinking about a memory. She was just feeling. You might be thinking, I'm afraid if I stop performing, I'll lose my edge. Well, force doesn't sharpen a blade. Precision does. Relaxing doesn't dull your edge. It makes you more accurate. What you lose is tension. What you gain is presence, comfortability, and depth. True confidence doesn't push, it lands. Now that I laid the foundation with some stories and gave you some thought-stimulating ideas, I'll give you a practice. One of my favorite things to do is what I call Super-Affirmations. It's not just affirmations. It's inspired by Noah St. John, book called Affirmations, and it's basically regular affirmations may get blocked by the mind because we have a filtering system. But questions, affirmations in the form of questions, they pass through any filters and they go straight into the unconscious mind. So, take a nice deep breath, soften your body and allow these good statements, these empowering beliefs to penetrate your nervous system, to soak into and absorb into your nervous system. How is it that my voice feels more relaxed and grounded? Because I no longer need to perform to be accepted. How is it that my breath naturally deepens when I speak? Because my nervous system knows I'm safe now. How is it that my voice sounds clearer and more effortless every day? Because I'm expressing truth, not survival. How is it that tension keeps releasing from my throat? Because my body no longer carries old pressure and resentment. How is it that confidence flows through my voice without trying? Because I trust myself and take up my rightful space. How is it that speaking feels energizing instead of exhausting? Because my voice is finally aligned with who I truly am. Repeat those affirmations as many times as you'd like. Feel those affirmations in your body. Let your body soften into them. And don't underestimate the powerful shift they can do in your well-being and mental health. Your voice is not broken. It's been working overtime trying to protect you. When you heal deeper layers of your psyche and body, your voice doesn't disappear. It shows up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you need one-on-one attention, visit my website and schedule a call with me. If you found this video helpful, you will love this next one over here where I do another deep dive into healing trauma that gets stuck in the throat. See you there. Your throat is one of the most common places that hold trauma. Did you know that public speaking is more feared than death? All this fear gets accumulated in the throat. When you were younger and you got up in front of the class to speak, that tension that you felt